आत्मनिर्भर भारत के संकल्प के साथ हम अगले 25 वर्षों के भारत की बुनियाद रच रहे हैं। पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान भारत के इसी आत्मबल को, आत्मविश्वास को आत्मनिर्भरता के संकल्प तक ले जाने वाला है।
Hello friends, myself Yash, and India will beat China and become the next manufacturing powerhouse. This is the hot topic nowadays. And why not? India as a nation is investing heavily in itself. Indian government is investing heavily for developing India's infrastructure to promote the economic growth. India, being demographically and geographically rich country, holds all the cards to become a manufacturing powerhouse. But to actually beat China and become a manufacturing powerhouse, we need to understand where India as a nation stands against China. Now, if we compare Indian economy to that of China, India is a $3.5 trillion economy, whereas China is 18.48, which is way high compared to that of India. Now, if we compare India's infrastructure to that of China, India ranks way low. In terms of World Competitive Index, even after the growth of 6 points from rank 43rd to rank 37th, India ranks way low compared to China. China stands at rank 17. In terms of foreign direct investment, which is one of the deciding factors for a nation's economic growth, India is seen to be losing the game of foreign direct investment. Countries like Vietnam, Taiwan, China, Indonesia, Malaysia are getting chunk of foreign direct investment, whereas India have seen a steep decline in foreign direct investment received by our nation. Despite of having abundance of resources, despite of being a youngest country in the world, despite of such a huge consumer market, why is India losing the game of manufacturing? What is that factor because of which India is losing this game? Well, the infrastructure of our nation is the major problem because of which India is losing the game of manufacturing. One might argue saying that our nation is investing heavily in infrastructure. Well, I agree with the fact that our nation is investing heavily. But is our nation investing effectively in infrastructure? Now let me explain it with an example. This is a common sight for us. Wherever we go, there is a sign of work under construction. And one might argue saying that our nation is investing in infrastructure, that's why there is always work going on. Well, this might not be the reason. In our country, we might have observed it that while a construction of the road is completed, suddenly a department remembers that there has to be fiber cable laid on this road. Well, the road is redone. Some other department will come out of the bloom and will realize that there is the need of installation of gas pipeline, and this constructed road will be redone again. This not only causes project delays but increases the cost of project completion. And even after the completion of the project, commoners like you and us can't benefit from it because the project doesn't have that last mile connectivity. Now, what might be the reason behind this problem? Now, the major reason behind this problem is that in India there are total 16 ministries. All the 16 ministries work independently, because of which there is a lack of communication between the ministries. Because of this interdepartmental communication gaps, the projects get delayed, the taxpayers' money is wasted, and problems are caused for commoners. Now, in some cases, even after the completion of the project, the commoners can't benefit from it. Now, let me explain it with an example. Let's say the national government have allotted fund for the development of industrial area. Now, even after the completion of the project, unless the road connectivity, water supply and electric supply reach the industrial area, people will not move their factories to that industrial area, and that area will be the waste of money. Abundance of resources, largest working young population and such a huge consumer market. Everything is used. With poor infra, a nation's growth is near to impossible. Now let me explain it with an example. The transition time at port in India is somewhere around 3 to 2.5 days, whereas the transition time in China is 12 hours only. The transition time is the time when ship arrives at the port, the goods are unloaded and the ship is sent back to the origin country. Now, because of the difference in the transition time in India and China, India spends $180 billion extra compared to China. Because of which the product manufactured in India are comparatively expensive to that of China. Because of which the products made in India become unattractive for the global market. Now, while we have a problem, we also have a solution. Solution is a project none other than Gati Shakti Yojana. This project have already been inaugurated by none other than our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Gati Shakti Yojana is a $1.2 trillion mega project. Now, this project aims to address the biggest concern that we are having right now, which is the interdepartmental communication gap in Indian ministry. By creating a multi-module and holistic platform which will be created by ISRO, Gati Shakti Yojana plans to bring all the 16 ministries under one platform. Under this platform, all the ministries will have the access of the project ongoing and undertaken by other ministries. Because of which, they can work with synchronization, which will not only reduce the project cost, but time, and the project will be benefit for commoners. Now, various ministries like Rail, Road, Port and Civil Aviation will have access to the portal of Gati Shakti Yojana. Now, let me explain it with an example that how actually the portal Gati Shakti Yojana will help ministries synchronize their work. Let's say national government have allotted funds for the construction of national highway. As the details of this project are on the portal of Gati Shakti Yojana, various departments have access to it, because of which the clearances will be faster. Let's say the environmental department have access to this project. The environmental clearance and the similar clearances will happen faster. Now, let's say there is a need of installation of gas pipeline on the same road. Also, there is a requirement of construction of the roads connecting this highway to the nearby cities. Now, as these projects detail are on Gati Shakti Yojana portal, all these different ministries will communicate and will plan their project accordingly. And this will help us to speed up the infrastructural development of our country. Although the interdepartmental communication gap is a big issue, Gati Shakti Yojana merely is not only a platform to bring about the interdepartmental communication, but Gati Shakti Yojana is a $1.2 trillion solid plan to speed up the infrastructural development of our nation. Gati Shakti Yojana consists of numerous projects and have time limit till the year 2025. As the name implies, the power of speed. Gati Shakti Yojana consists of variety of projects and a planned roadmap of investing this $1.2 trillion. Under Gati Shakti Yojana, there will be 11 industrial corridors and 2 defense corridors. Gati Shakti Yojana plans to build 2 lakh route kilometers of highway. Not only this, Gati Shakti Yojana plans to build 17,000 kilometers of gas pipelines. To develop medical and textile industries, Gati Shakti Yojana plans to construct 109 pharma and medical clusters and 90 textile clusters. Indian government plans to construct 220 airports, water aerodromes and helipads. Now, Gati Shakti Yojana is not the only project. There is another project called National Logistic policy on which Indian government has its bet. Under the project National Logistic policy, Indian government plans to construct a variety of logistic parks across India. This project targets to reduce the transportation cost of India and to make Indian product attractive in global market. Now, having all the cards in our hand, having such a huge consumer market, and India being a demographically rich country while the entire world is getting old, India's young working population is increasing day by day. India also have a geographical advantage when the world is moving towards renewable energy sources. India have abundant of solar energy, because of which India has the upper hand. With all this being said, IMF have reported that India will surpass Germany and Japan and will become world's third largest economy by 2028. While all these predictions, all these projects and everything that India has is pushing India towards becoming a manufacturing powerhouse, we at My Machine Store are facilitating and fueling the growth of Indian manufacturing industry. To make India a manufacturing powerhouse, you and us, all of us will have to work together in achieving this ambitious target. If you like our videos, if you find them informative, please subscribe to our channel and stay tuned. We'll be sharing such knowledgeable videos on regular basis.